Have you ever done everything right and your life still fell apart anyway? You prayed when you were supposed to pray. You forgave when it hurt. You showed up for your family, your work, your faith, even when no one else was watching. You tried to be patient. You tried to do good. You kept your faith, and somehow things still broke. Maybe it was a diagnosis. Maybe it was a marriage that quietly died. Maybe it was the phone call that changed everything in 30 seconds. There's a story in the Bible about a man who lived that exact reality, and his name still echoes through every generation of people who have suffered without explanation. His name was Job. He lived in the land of Uz, far from the spotlight of kings and prophets, but very much in the spotlight of heaven. The Bible tells us he was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. He had a wife he loved, 10 children who brought him joy, and wealth so vast that people in his region spoke of him with respect. Every morning, Job would rise early and offer sacrifices for his children, just in case any of them had sinned in their hearts. That's the kind of man he was. Not perfect, but intentionally faithful. If you had looked at Job's life from the outside, you would have said what his neighbors said. God has really blessed him. And then, in what feels like a single terrible day, everything starts to fall apart. First, the messengers come running, breathless. Job, the oxen and donkeys are gone. Raiders took them. Your servants are dead. Before he can even process that, another messenger bursts in. The fire of God fell from the sky and burned up the sheep and the shepherds. A third, Chaldeans stole your camels. Your servants are dead. And while the words are still hanging in the air, a fourth messenger arrives with the news no parent should ever hear. Your sons and daughters were feasting in the oldest brother's house when a great wind came from the desert. The house collapsed on them. They're all gone. One day, one devastating day. He had everything, and in the time it takes to deliver 4 messages, it was all gone. And here's the part that's hard to sit with. Job didn't do anything to cause it. This wasn't the result of some hidden compromise. There was no secret sin the Bible whispers about later. No moment where the storyteller says, but here's where he went wrong. In fact, the very first chapter of his book lets us peek behind the curtain of heaven. We see that his suffering wasn't punishment. It was a battleground. Satan himself challenged God. Job only serves you because you bless him. And God allowed the test, which means sometimes the hardest things in your life are not because God is angry with you. Sometimes they are because your life is declaring something about the faithfulness of God that the enemy doesn't want the universe to see. Then come the voices. His 3 friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, show up to comfort him. At first, they sit in silence for 7 days. That part was right. But then they open their mouths. You must have done something wrong, Job. God doesn't punish the innocent. Search your heart. Confess. Repent. They spoke with confidence. They quoted Proverbs. They sounded spiritual. And suddenly, Job's suffering wasn't just pain, it was also shame. Because when you're already broken, the worst thing someone can do is hand you a theology that makes your pain your fault. So let's say this clearly and loudly, because someone needs to hear it tonight. Sometimes your pain is not punishment. Sometimes there is no clean, tidy explanation you can wrap up with a bow and post on social media. Sometimes life breaks, even when your faith didn't, even when your prayers were fervent, even when your heart was sincere. And that does not mean you failed. It does not mean God abandoned you. It does not mean the story is over. Job doesn't pretend to be okay. He tears his robe. He shaves his head. He sits in ashes. He curses the day he was born. He asks the raw, honest questions. Why? How long? Where are you? He wrestles with God instead of walking away from him. And maybe that's the part we miss in modern Christianity. Strength doesn't always look like standing tall with a smile on your face. Sometimes strength looks like staying in the conversation with God when every fiber of your being wants to run. Sometimes it looks like just not walking away. So if you are listening right now and you have been holding everything together with white knuckles and it still feels like it's slipping through your hands, you are not crazy. If you have been trying to do the right thing for a long time and life still feels unbearably heavy, you are not alone. If you have been whispering in the dark, why is this happening to me? You are asking the same question a righteous man named Job once screamed into the wind. Your questions don't disqualify your faith. They prove you still have it. Job never got the quick answers he wanted. He didn't get an instant explanation or a 5-step recovery plan. But he did get something better in the end. God himself showed up. Not with answers first, but with presence. And in the middle of the mystery, Job discovered that his story wasn't over. Maybe tonight, that is enough to hold on to. Not that everything makes sense yet, but that the God who allowed the breaking is still writing the rest of your story. You are still here. Your story isn't over. And that, friend, is hope.